Today, we're going to talk about why Bitcoin's price graph looks like this and why we've gone from $20,000 all the way down to $6,250. And just a few hours ago, we were at $5,900. And, this is funny because I made a video back in November, okay? Back in November, back when Bitcoin was sitting at 6,000 something dollars, right around where it is now. And the title of that video was, Why Does Bitcoin's Price Continue to Rise? So now we're going to make the counterpart of it. We're at the same price roughly, but we're on the opposite direction. We just continue to move down as opposed to continue to move upward. And funny enough, the reason is quite similar. It's the snowball effect. It's momentum, right? If you roll a snowball down a hill, at first it's only going to collect a little bit of snow. But as we go further down, the surface area of the snowball increases and it collects even more snow. And by the time we get to the bottom of the hill, we have a ginormous snowball. Well, we can have that happen in both directions when it comes to prices. And now we're going in the opposite direction, unfortunately, right? We see the momentum coming out of Bitcoin. We're moving to the downside. People are starting to doubt it. And one thing that I want everybody to learn when it comes to this particular market is that while technology will evolve, human psychology will not. The nature of human behavior will never change or evolve. And what I mean by this is that when we look at the prices of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, or any of those other cryptocurrencies, we are not looking at the evolution of technology. We are simply looking at the perception of it. We are looking at human behavior. And that's important to understand because then you're going to realize, okay, the fact that Bitcoin is going to be increasingly adopted does not matter. The fact that transaction fees are going down does not matter. The fact that the probability of an ETF has gone up does not matter. None of those things really matter all that much. All that matters is the perception of what Bitcoin is and where it's positioned in the future. And that perception has shifted by roughly $14,000. That's how you should think about these things. But see, there's more to it than just that, because it's the whole surrounding environment of investing that has also changed in that time period. So if we move over to the S&P 500 here, you're going to see that 2018 has not been smooth sailing the same way that 2017 was, right? In 2017, we just had this solid straight upward trend in the S&P 500. It could do no wrong. But once we hit January 26th, that's when we started nosediving in the S&P 500, and since then we've been kind of trading sideways. We've had some positive moments, we had some negative moments in the past week as a result of concerns over a trade war with the EU because of Donald Trump. We're not going to get into that whole thing, but you understand the basic premise here is that we are starting to see the stock market not do as well, which reduces people's confidence in investing. And we start seeing a little bit of risk-off behavior. Now, how can we measure risk-off behavior? Well, we can look at this 10-year Treasury yield. And you can see here that the interest rate has been going down. Now, what does that mean? It means that prices of bonds are going up because people are buying them because they're feeling like, okay, you know what, maybe I don't want to take a chance with stocks anymore, given the fact that the PE ratio of the market is the highest it's been since the dot-com bubble or the Great Depression, right before the Great Depression, right? That's the highest we've been. We're right up there. So you have a situation like this, which encourages risk-off behavior. What do you think is going to happen to something like Bitcoin, which is by far one of the riskiest assets that you can possibly put your hands on, or not really be able to put your hands on, but you get my point, right? So this is a situation where not only do we have the momentum going in the opposite direction for Bitcoin, we also have a situation where the global investing environment has started to go risk off. And that really doesn't benefit cryptocurrencies, right? And again, the other thing here that's happening is that you have, because this momentum has moved in the opposite direction now, there was a time where if you were any type of news company, any type of media corporation, Bitcoin was a hot topic. I mean, it was a hot topic, right? That's the only reason I ever came into existence. That's the only reason anybody even knows about me, is because of the fact that I happened to make a YouTube channel at the right time, right? On the right topic of Bitcoin. There was an information shortage. And if you were anybody, you had to talk about Bitcoin. So, what did we have happen? We started getting daily reporting from the Wall Street Journal. It started making A1 and B1. We had reporting from CNBC on a daily basis where they were bringing in different key opinion leaders to say what their opinion was of Bitcoin. We had Seeking Alpha, which was one of the websites I used to write for and still occasionally do. We had them start talking about Bitcoin. Originally they banned all talking about Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden they opened up the doors. So we had this situation where Bitcoin was being, embraced with open arms by the media. We had different websites dedicated to Bitcoin that were starting to prop up, right? Or starting to get a lot more popular in the instance of CoinDesk and Cointelegraph and CCN, right? So you add all of that up. What does that add up into? Buzz, and a lot of it, right? And that's all this market is, right? You always have to remember that, is that the cryptocurrency market is all about perception. It's human behavior. It is not technology. Despite what others might tell you, it's not based on the fundamentals of cryptocurrencies at all. Remember back here in December and January, this is when a single transaction of Bitcoin cost $40. But nobody was using Bitcoin, right? In fact, we saw the transactions with Bitcoin start to decrease. So adoption of Bitcoin really did not influence this at all. It was the fact that there was just so much interest in it. And if you ever want to see an interesting story, you can go to this website called SimilarWeb, which gives you the statistics related to a bunch of different websites. You can search any website that you want to. But I always find this interesting to look at for some of the big websites out there for the cryptocurrency space. Just have a look at CoinDesk here, right? CoinDesk went from having 54 million monthly visits back in December of 2017, which, let me tell you, that is a lot of moolah. That is a lot of money that they were making back then. Same as me, right? Every video I had was averaging 100,000 views, even if it wasn't interesting, even if it wasn't well researched, right? As long as I put out any content out there that people that were interested in it, people soaked up that content like a sponge. Right? So now we have that situation where things are starting to go down and go down and go down. And for CoinDesk in particular, we're finally starting to maybe hit a bottom, maybe, at 12.6 million monthly views compared to 54 million, right? So we're at less than a quarter of what we previously had for just this one website. And it's true for Cointelegraph, it's true for CCN, it's true for Bitcoin Magazine. It doesn't matter where you go. All the different cryptocurrency related websites have a lot less interest. It's also true if you look at the Google Trends for Bitcoin, which is natural, right? That's usually going to follow price. But some of this stuff doesn't follow price, right? Some of this stuff is it happens at the same time. And if we look at the volume situation for Bitcoin over time, I keep clicking on this. If we look at the volume situation for Bitcoin, we're not doing the greatest, right? In fact, this is not the best place to go because this is just looking at Coinbase. If we look at CoinMarketCap, you will see that the volume has gone down for the overall market as we see interest fade out of it, which of course is natural. So what I'm really trying to point out for everybody here is that we have momentum moving away from the market. That's clear, and that's probably sounds pretty self-explanatory. We have something a little less obvious, which is that if you look at the global investing environment, right, or even just the United States one, we're starting to see a situation in which stocks seem a little bit scarier. And as a result of that, we're seeing risk-off behavior, right? Previously, people might, stocks were doing so well. Why don't we just go for even higher and higher returns? So cryptocurrencies seem quite good. Now that's not the case anymore. We're starting to see those interest rates in bonds start to decrease, despite the natural tendency of them to want to go up, given how low they've been and given the fact that the central banks are trying to raise those interest rates, but the market's fighting against it because they really want to have a safe haven of some variety, given the fact that the stock market is so expensive. So we have this huge situation going on here, again, that really doesn't benefit cryptocurrencies. So, the next question, of course, is when is that going to change? When are we going to go back to having, this type of parabolic growth? And if you have listened to this channel for a while, you know that I was calling for a second wave where cryptocurrencies were going to go back up at a pretty fast pace. Well, at this point, we're clearly in a bear market right now. I don't know when that's going to happen. What I do believe is that there are cycles. There will always be cycles, right? This happened back in 2013, 2014, where Bitcoin went from a high of 1,000 something all the way down to $200 of the following year, right? So we had this 1 year bear market where cryptocurrencies did nothing but go straight down. There are going to be circumstances that are like that. Well, usually that momentum will shift. There's going to be some type of catalyst. I think the big catalyst that really made all the difference for Bitcoin in 2017, there was two of them back at the beginning of like April, May, around that period where we started seeing Ethereum blast off. We had the threat of the flippening. Really, the whole cryptocurrency market started to do very well then. But I think the very big catalyst that started to get things moving was actually back on April 1st, which was the birth of Bitcoin Cash. I think that was very interesting to people outside of the cryptocurrency field because the idea that Bitcoin was going to split into two different cryptocurrencies, both of which were fighting for the name of Bitcoin, that got some headlines. That got into the Wall Street Journal. That got into CNBC. Obviously, CNBC is quite close with Bitcoin Cash, right? So we had this very, dramatic circumstance that was happening. I really believe that the Bitcoin Cash hard fork was one of the major catalysts that caused Bitcoin to go from $3,000 to $20,000 over the course of 4 months. What is that catalyst going to be next time? I can't tell you. It might be another hard fork, might be the Lightning Network. We don't know exactly what that's going to be. But what I will tell you is that because it's human behavior and not technology that determines the prices in this particular market, there will be a cycle again where Bitcoin goes ridiculously crazy. Now, it is still my opinion at this point in time that Bitcoin is overvalued. It is still a bubble. I know that people always wonder what my thoughts are on that. Again, I still don't think Bitcoin's all that useful. And that opinion isn't going to shift even as the technology improves unless it goes and improves by a dramatic amount. It's still more convenient to use most other services at this point. You can ask people outside of the cryptocurrency field what they think. If they've tried Bitcoin before, usually they're going to tell you that it's more convenient for them to use other services. And it's a little less taboo to say something like that because now if you look at people who sort of observed Bitcoin casually, now it kind of seems like it was a fad as opposed to being the next big thing that was going to change the world. So people are a little bit more willing to give their honest opinion as opposed to bandwagoning and saying that Bitcoin is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's another factor, by the way, is the fact that people from outside the industry who are looking in feel like they can be a little bit more honest with people and not immediately get, attacked for the fact that they have a different opinion from everybody else. So anyway, those are my thoughts on why the market continues to move downward, not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrencies as a whole. Those are also my thoughts in terms of, when are we going to see things move back? I don't know. Nobody knows. But what I do feel fairly certain of is that there is going to be a moment where the video where I said, why does Bitcoin continue to rise? That's going to be relevant again. Is it today? I don't know. This was like a nice little 30-minute pump that Bitcoin tends to have once in a while. I don't know if this is going to be long lasting, but we'll see. We will see. As usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long time since I've done a video. I mean, if you look at this, it says 2 months ago. I haven't done it since May 1st, 2018. So that was roughly 2 months ago now. It's June 29th. So for those of you that are curious where I've been, what I've been up to, why I've been gone so long, it's really just because I've gotten tired of the cryptocurrency news cycle. A lot of people, obviously, because it's a cryptocurrency YouTube channel, people are always going to speculate that I lost so much money, that I didn't have the heart to tell anybody, and that I was hiding, or that I'm not making money off of the YouTube videos anymore, and that's the only reason I was making them, or whatever else, right? Look, that's never going to be the reason why I stopped posting, because first of all, everybody lost money in this market over the past couple of months. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If you had a penny in Bitcoin, you've lost money in it over the past couple of months. I don't feel ashamed of that, unless you did day trading and you did that very well, in which case, congratulations to you. But I've shifted more to a buy and hold strategy recently. So I'm not ashamed of any money that I've lost. And then secondly, the people who think that I'm not making money off of the YouTube videos anymore, these videos will always make me money now, just because of the fact that the cryptocurrency advertisements are worth so much, and because I get enough views that it matters, and yada, yada, yada. So if you ever think that it's because of the money, either way, whether it's I lost money or that I'm not making money off the videos anymore, don't think that, right? Usually the reason if I stop posting videos, it's just going to be because of the fact that I've gotten tired of the news cycle. I've gotten tired of hearing for the 15th million time that the SEC said something about Bitcoin that they've said 1,700 other times, right? Like that type of news cycle. Or when you go to the Reddit and they're like, there's some people that are like, if you sell now, that's the equivalent of selling Amazon back in 2000 after the bubble popped, or that type of post that gets so annoying after you've seen it for the 10th time. You just get tired of the news cycle. And when I was doing the cryptocurrency YouTube channel, I felt like I had to read that stuff every single day. And I've never done that with any other type of investment I've ever made. The only reason I was doing that was for the YouTube channel, and it just gets real old real fast. So I'm probably not going to go back to like a regular upload schedule of, several times a week. I'm thinking about doing like a once a week on Fridays or something like that. But I just wanted to give a quick update on that. And then furthermore, I'm going to start posting more often on Twitter. Okay, so you can check out my Twitter at truthinvestor, at truth_investor. I'm going to start posting there a little bit more frequently. I don't know how often, but I'm going to try to do it at least a couple of times a week. That way you guys can stay up to date with my stuff and not feel like I disappear off the face of the planet. So if you're interested, go follow me on Twitter. And as usual, make sure you check out my content on Steemit, because again, it's a nice way to support me. Thank you for watching. Leave a subscription, comment, like. I don't even remember how to do my outro anymore. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.